The choir robes billowed around Nnkechi like angel wings as she raised her hands in worship. Every Sunday, the entire congregation at Mount Zion Pentecostal would hold their breath when Pastor Easy's daughter took the solo. "That girl is anointed," the elderly mothers would whisper, "a true child of God." But anointed children still have curious hands. The first time Emeka's fingers brushed against hers when collecting offering plates, Nnkechi felt fire race up her arm. He wasn't even a real church boy, just a contractor fixing the leaking roof. Yet when he whispered, "Meet me behind the parsonage," during communion, her feet moved before her conscience could object. That rainy evening, pressed between the church wall and Emeka's hard body, Nnkechi discovered why her mother warned about men who quote the Song of Solomon too fluently. His mouth tasted like the peppermint candies they sold at the church bookstore, his hands mapping territory no man had charted. When his phone buzzed with a call from wifey, Nnkechi chose to believe his story about a troublesome sister. 6 months later, the pregnancy test glowed like a judgment. Emeka's solution came wrapped in brown paper, bitter herbs from a babalawo in Abeokuta. "Drink it all at midnight," he instructed. But when the cramps came, they brought more than blood. They brought visions, tiny fingers grasping at her womb, a cry that existed only in her spirit. The second abortion happened in a proper clinic, paid for with money from her mother's jewelry box. The third, the third was when Emeka stopped answering calls. Nnkechi's belly grew alongside her shame. She stole her mother's wrappers to hide the swelling until the morning her water broke during morning devotion. Alone in the cramped bathroom, she bit down on a towel to muffle screams as life tore through her. The baby girl came into the world with her father's dimples and her grandmother's piercing eyes. Nnkechi's hands shook as she counted 10 perfect fingers. Outside, dawn painted the sky in hopeful colors. Inside, despair colored everything black. The dumpster behind Chicken Republic had just been emptied. Nnkechi reasoned this was mercy. The baby wouldn't linger among rotting food. She wrapped the child in the same Ankara fabric her mother wore to her graduation. "Someone will find you," she lied to the blinking eyes. "Someone better." But Lagos has its own rules about secrets. The dumpster diver who heard faint cries was a deaconess from a rival church. The orphanage that took the child kept meticulous records, and the scar across Nnkechi's abdomen never stopped aching, not even when she married a kind accountant years later. The hospital waiting room smelled of antiseptic and old fear. Nnkechi's husband rubbed her back as they awaited fertility test results. "Mrs. Nnkechi Obi?" The doctor's glasses reflected the fluorescent lights. "We've found why you can't conceive." He slid a grainy ultrasound across the desk. Severe uterine scarring from past trauma. Behind him, a nurse entered with a file. "We also found something else. Your records show you had a daughter at 21? The walls breathed in. The clock stopped ticking. Somewhere in Lagos, a 14-year-old girl with her mother's singing voice was stirring a pot of egusi soup, unaware that destiny was about to knock. Nnkechi's fingers trembled against the adoption paperwork. The photo paper clipped to the front showed a teenager mid-laugh, the very image of her grandmother. Outside, Harmattan winds carried the scent of coming rain. Somewhere between the first lie and this moment, God had been keeping score.